Hello friends, it's Cress here with another build in the Storybook Vale. Welcome back to the channel. In today's speed build, we'll be designing a little nook for Merida in the Ever After. With the surrounding rock creating a kind of valley and the lush grass with patches of purple that kind of look like Scottish heather, I thought that the beanstalk marshes would be the perfect spot for a cozy cottage build for Merida. Whether you're here for a cozy build with relaxing lo-fi music, or you're here for inspo, please consider liking and subscribing so you don't miss out on more Touch of Magic designs, tips and tricks, speed builds, and tours. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. This is my first speed build using the new 16 points rotation feature, so we're going to start off with Merida's house at an angle. Who else is in love with this feature? While it does take up a little bit more space, I've found that it really makes my builds feel already so much more dynamic and natural. We're going to use the rocky terrain item to create a path that leads to the existing brick path that I laid down for Maleficent's build. The angling and rotation took a while to get used to, so please bear with me if you find this video just a little bit more chaotic than my others. I definitely had to do a lot of extra finagling and rotating and moving items around to make them all fit. Next, I went in with these craftable walls from the DLC. I love that we get these items in 3 different variations, but for this build, I went with the pink rose ones and the plain mossy ones. I only used 4 here because I wanted them to create the look of a little bridge, and then I used 2 to frame out the entrance to Merida's little nook. Unfortunately, they can't go on top of rugs, which is a bit disappointing because there's a small gap between the cobblestones and the wall, but I still think it works well enough to create the idea of a bridge. Although, on second thought, I really wish that I had added like a little bit of a path underneath. I don't know, maybe the gravel path or something to just kind of distinguish this little area from the rest of it. I filled in some of the gaps in the cobblestone with Glade of Trust rock clusters. Now for Merida's water source, I thought about using the stone well, but since the color of the well didn't quite match with the color palette of the house, the rustic pump from the Beauty and the Beast collection was actually the perfect alternative. Next, I added these Touch of Magic rugs I've made. Now, if you've seen my Rapunzel speed build, then you'll recognize this rug from that. Now, you'll notice that I actually lay these rugs down pretty unevenly. The stream edges actually don't really match up, but as you'll see later, we're going to be adding different things to cover that up. I wanted to keep this build mostly cottagecore with only a few fairy core things thrown in, so I used a lot of rustic items like these cute barrels, and of course, since Merida is an incredible archer, I had to throw in Gaston's archery set. I wanted to keep access to this mining node open while also making this area super cute, so I added the walls to create kind of a little walkway. Then I added the absolutely gorgeous toadstool circle with an authentic stump in the middle. Guys, I said this in my last video, but I love this item. And I added a cute little reading area where Merida can sit in her rocking chair and enjoy a good book by the stream. I forgot to mention just a little blurb about the Touch of Magic rugs. Unfortunately, since we're not able to copy and paste Touch of Magic designs, I had to start this from scratch, which I wish that that's a feature that they would add, because it would be so nice to be able to copy and paste Touch of Magic dresses or rugs or different designs. But anyway, I did record this, and I'm planning on creating a Touch of Magic tutorial with all of my Touch of Magic rugs, so you can see how I created this and all my others. And this is where things got a little crazy, friends. I tried so hard to make that tree fit into that space. I wanted 3 trees there, and I was gonna make sure those trees fit no matter what. But it took a lot of moving things around and rotating to get them to fit, so oops. Sorry about the chaos. I edited out some of the chaos because the camera movements were making me dizzy, but the rest I kept so you can see just how much I was struggling with this. We're going to keep this build very natural and rustic, so I added the rock clusters to make a rough path to the mining node and the archery stand. And since this is a Scottish forest in the Highlands inspired build, I made liberal use of trees. I am so thrilled that we have so many different types of firs now, and you'll see that I use a lot of the varieties we have in this build. So while the left-hand side of the stream I designed to look like it's flowing into the lake at the back of the marsh, I really wanted this right-hand side to have a natural stopping point. Now, usually I'd use one of the Lion King waterfalls, but the color for that is just too warm for the color palette of this build. It's in the Ever After, so it's just too many cool colors. But thankfully, this Forest of Valor rock can go on rugs. And I think, I'm not positive, but I think it might be the only one that can go on rugs. Now, just like I did with my Rapunzel build, I wanted the stream rug to really blend in with the rest of the grass. So we're going to go ahead and add in a variety of underbrush elements. We're going to add logs and trees and rocks to really make it look natural. And of course, we can't forget those butterfly flowers, which can go on literally everything. And thankfully, I don't have to complain about the fact that we only have these in one color because they look perfect for this build. I surrounded this entire build with these landscaping pieces. They're great for creating a foresty look with minimal effort, and they also add some terrain to the build, which I love. I also love that we have so many options to choose from. Each biome gives us at least 3 different landscaping pieces. So, like I was talking about earlier, adding this landscaping piece perfectly hides the unevenness of the rugs. This is a perfect little landscaping trick that you can use to create not only a winding stream, but honestly any kind of water source. You could, for example, use these landscaping pieces to surround a whimsical little fairy freshwater pond with lily pads and bubbles and snippets and fireflies. You know, I actually think I'm gonna try creating that in my Frosted Heights. It would look really cool up there. Anyway, back to the build at hand. I wanted a cute little sitting area using these bear chairs. They just fit so well with Merida's aesthetic. I'm definitely not the first person to think of using these for Merida though. In fact, I saw that Cupcake is Gaming did the same. By the way, check out her channel. Her builds are so beautiful and I'm sure you'll find tons of inspiration there. I'll link her channel in the description. But anyway, I used these Savannah rugs for each chair and added some books because, well, books make everything 10 times cozier. And then I added a cooking campfire. I love the way this looks at eye level because it really just looks like a cozy little reading spot next to a winding stream. So that spot by the lake felt really bare, even with the landscaping piece there. So I went in and added that Forgotten Lands tree. Now it took a bit of moving things around to get it just right though, and you'll see that I actually return to that spot a little later and do some more finagling. I probably said it in my last video, but these mushrooms are absolutely everything. They're so pretty and whimsical, I couldn't resist adding them. Even though this is more of a cottagecore build, it still works. Now I framed out the entrance to Merida's little nook with these rustic lanterns. Then I went in with butterfly flowers and a few trees, and later on I added a few rose bushes to the sides of the walls just to fill in the space there. Returning to the walkway to the lake at the front, I wanted to make sure I had a clear path to the lake so I could still access the fishing spots, so I finished this path off simply with Forest of Valor rock clusters. Now, I thought about using the rocky terrain to pave it, but I really liked the simple, natural look of the rocks. But if you are doing this build yourself, feel free to switch it out for rocky terrain or even pathing if you prefer. I added some trees to make it feel more like a path through the woods, and again, I really made use of the different varieties of firs that we have now. And finally, I added the big ever after tree at the entrance to again make it feel like a little cozy cottagecore nook in the woods. And because I just can't ever seem to resist placing lighting elements on my water rugs, I went in with these melted candles all along the stream. I really wanted to use the atrium candles, but I'm low on opal, so if you've got the materials and you're following along, feel free to switch them out for the atrium candles instead of the melted candles. I know I'll be doing that in the future. I really wanted to fill in that space behind the bear chair on the left, so I went back to moving things around back here. It took a bit of doing, but I finally got everything where I wanted it over here. After filling in the space around with large trees and landscaping pieces, an overview shot helped me to just kind of make some final adjustments. Of course, you've seen in my builds, I always like to lower my camera to eye level in furniture mode, just to kind of feel out spaces and see what it'll look like when I'm walking through. But it's also a great idea to look at it from an aerial view just to kind of find spaces where you might need to add or remove things, or honestly just move things around. And finally, I went in with mushrooms and moss. Now, I love adding forageable items to builds because they make a build feel so natural and realistic. I only added them to the main walkway for this build, but I might go in and add some pine cones and some extra moss and mushrooms to the front path, the one that leads to the lake as well. Now for the cozy sunset tour. want to take a moment to thank every single one of my amazing subscribers. Your views and likes and comments really warm my heart, and each interaction really helps my small channel grow. It means so much, you have no idea. A special thanks to our channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Your contributions help keep the cozy content coming. If you've enjoyed this video and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider clicking that subscribe button. Thanks friends, I'll see you in the next video.